Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for another episode of the Boston Greeks podcast. I am Ari, and with me is my co-host Foti. How are you, Foti?
I'm good, and yourself, Ari?
I'm real good, man, because we have an awesome guest today. Somebody that I've known, but more so have heard so much about all the years that we've been involved in the Greek scene. But like I personally, I don't know about you, Foti, but I never really connected one-on-one with him as much as some of the other people on the Boston scene.
Right.
But I've always heard about him, and everything I heard about him was like just straight amazing, just fire.
Right. I mean, in the before we bring him on real quickly, during our era of in our youth in the music scene, the nightclub scene, music was a lot different back then than it is today. But we were so proud to listen to the fact that there were individuals like our guests that were actually in the music scene. For us being involved in hosting events and nights, it was a pride factor for us as well.
Yeah, man. I felt like Boston was the place to be because of individuals like our first guest. Foti, why don't you bring him on?
Well, we have the honor with us. I know he's got a busy schedule. I know he's got plans. He's traveling. We'll talk about this too, but let's bring on our guest, Alex, also known as, we know him as Efiologos. Alex,
good evening, gentlemen.
Thank you so much for coming on to the show. It's an honor and a pleasure. What's going on, brother?
Honor to be here, guys, and thank Ari. What an intro.
Well, I mean, it's the truth, right? Because I've known all about you, obviously. I always would hear everything. I would hear music that you put out. People would be talking about you. But I could pick out all the people that I would be face to face with, and I'm I don't know if I've ever actually sat face to face with you at any point. Maybe we have. Maybe I was just drunk because I was drunk a lot of the times.
No, most of our time was spent at events.
Yeah.
You were a big supporter with the Greek Boston side and helping my music get out there, and I appreciate that, and I thank you for it. Without you guys, I wouldn't have gotten to the place that I have. Greek Boston was very important in everything that I am.
Well, thanks.
That's great. That's great to hear that.
Thanks for saying that. But it's you. So this is another personal opinion. I don't know if this is true or not, but sure. You were kind of almost mythical to me. You were from around us, right? But sure. because I didn't know you really well, buddy, I would just hear your music, and I was like, yeah, this guy is he's above the stuff we're doing over here. This guy's because a lot of the stuff I would hear back then, you were so it sounded like you were a legit superstar out of Greece, and I was like, this dude's American. How is it? I could barely speak
possible.
I appreciate that. And again, it's not just me. What you guys see as the finished product is a team behind me. My team has changed over the years, but back then, give credit where credit is due. Chris Paragias, Greco, Arthur Marcos, Thrilla, they were a big part of everything I did, and again, just like Greek Boston was a big part of everything, of all my accomplishments, so were they.
That sounds
my producer, he was my engineer, Arthur spent endless hours online getting the word out there. This is before we had, Facebook's. Our biggest tool, and it was new to everyone, was MySpace.
Yeah.
And then we had the blogs and the message boards. You remember the message boards?
Oh my God, the message board. the greatest thing and the worst thing that's ever happened.
It was a hustle. I mean, it's still a hustle, but it was a real hustle back then.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it was the link connection that I'm understanding here. And having said that, Alex, tell us a little bit about your upbringing and where you grew up as a Greek American.
Yeah.
What was it like for you growing up?
Sure. Both my parents came from Greece, in the mid 70s. I was born in the early 80s. Grew up in Lynn. Grew up in the Lynn church. Very, very heavy Greek influence. Everyone spoke Greek. When I started elementary school, I didn't speak English.
Yeah.
So the school that I went to actually had a Greek program, so that helped me out in kindergarten. My teacher was Greek. And actually throughout elementary school, I actually was able to take Greek as a subject. So I didn't take any art programs in all of elementary school, and every day for an hour, we had a teacher from Greece, a Greek teacher, and we would learn. And that has a lot to do with where my skill level is as far as like writing and reading and be able to comprehend the language and picking up on stuff. Yeah, a lot of it goes there. And my grandparents, of course, for raising me.
Because I was going to say, you know, when I listen to any Greek rappers, but especially if they're Greek Americans, especially if they're from like my area, I'm like amazed. I'm like, I speak one Greek sentence and I'm like fumbling everything. And I'm like, look at these guys flow. Like these guys are from the same place I am. And they speak so much more fluid, like just nice. And I'm like,
you also have to remember, again, like what I said earlier, you're hearing the finished product, right? It's rehearsed, it's practice, it's some work.
Yeah. That's also you being humble, because the finished product that I would put out would be a lot different than the finished product you put out. So yeah, it's good to be humble.
Thank you.
But yeah, there's a talent there, and there's a very, very strong grasp of your Greek language, which is amazing. Like
I appreciate that.
So your upbringing was pretty much like most Greek Americans,
most
right?
of us, yeah, for sure.
So what led you? What was like the beginning part of you getting into music? Like, was it just you used to hear the old school hip hop and you're like, I want to do that? Or was it something more specific, or what was it?
So this is a great question. I've never told this story.
Oh, good.
So I've always been big into music. Hip hop has always been my number one love. I love all sorts of music, especially as I got older. You learn to appreciate more stuff that you don't when you were younger. But always from a young age, hip hop was my thing. We grew up in that old school era where there was messages in the music, and I was always drawn to that. And it's a big part of the music, you know, that I also make today. But as far as how I got into it, I was always into it as far as like a fan. I never thought of being on the other side of the fence. Never crossed my mind until I heard what Chris and Thrilla and Stelly Stell were doing.
Oh, yeah.
Stell.
And me and Stells are very good friends now, but back then I didn't know him. We're very close. We're actually working on some projects together. Okay. But back then I didn't know him, and I heard it. I'm like, I could rap better than this guy. What is this? So no one's heard this. I think Chris, Thrilla, and Stells might be the only people that know about it. I actually dissed him for no reason. Like very childish move, really stupid. But I listened to his record. I picked it apart and I made a track in like my bedroom at the time. I didn't have proper like tools or anything. It was like very bootleggish. And we started putting it on all the message boards.
That's like the real hip hop. I love that. That's awesome.
And within like, I'd say about a couple, I knew they were working with Chris. I knew Chris, but like in passing, like we weren't like friends, like we know each other now. But I purposely left like little Easter eggs in the song. I didn't know if they were going to pick up on it so they could find out who I was. And they did. They figured it out. And Chris got my number from someone, and he called me and he's like, hey man, we're really trying to do some stuff. Like, can you please take this down? Like, I appreciate it from a music standpoint, but can you please take it down? We don't want to deal with the negativity. I was like, yeah, man, of course. Sorry about that. Didn't think about it again. Took it down. Months later, Chris reaches out. He's like, the project we were doing didn't end up going the way we thought. I don't know. There was something with Stells or whatever. I don't know the details of that. And then he's like, do you want to work together? So we met up like at a restaurant, I think Sylvan Street Grill in Danvers. Me and Chris meet there. I rap for him in the car. He loses his mind. He brought some beats with him. We go to the studio, record some songs. And he had a cousin in Miami, Bobby, who happened, Bobby Regalos, who happened to be friends with Nico Vugliot. So we record a couple of records. We send it out to Greece. And then before you know it, I'm on a plane to Greece getting gold records.
Wow.
From Universal. Like insane.
That is insane. That's awesome. That's like a legit like hip hop background.
It's a real story. The thing is, I wasn't trying to get it, and I think part of why this journey has been so long, because that I'm talking like 05, 06 right now, to where now I feel like I'm actually, I know your introduction was amazing. You made me sound like this big, great thing. But to me, like, I didn't really feel like I had really accomplished anything. Not anything. I didn't feel like I was at the level that I needed to be. And I feel like all this time took me to get there, because having that success all at the beginning really made me cocky. And I thought I was like the greatest at everything. And I quickly found out that is not the case.
It's classic. Classic.
It harmed me. But it took some time for me to actually realize it. But I think it all worked out for the best. I think I'm in a good space. We're making great music. I'm working with names that were only on, coming out of my speakers, the people that I knew, I worked on in 2014. I was really on like a giant hiatus. Like I hadn't done music in forever, and just decided to start working on this little beat, and ended up sending it to Nivo, and that song is now Dio Matiable with Panos Kiamos.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
It's
awesome.
like the song, a massive record that still plays.
That's so cool.
It is. Yeah. It's
That's
really
that's something that, like, you say all these things and it just sounds so easy. It's like, I put some beats together, I rapped for this guy, I slapped some beats together, I sent it over. Now, I'm this big star. But it's like, it's not that easy. You make it sound easy, but it's not that easy. I mean, I've been around enough to know that it takes a lot of hard work.
Well, there were probably a couple hundred records before that were not good.
But it is a testament to talent. I mean, you can't be where you are if you don't have the talent. So, as humble as you want to be, you there's a talent there that us as the audience can hear. Because I've always thought it. And before I got to know who you were, I always was like, oh, this dude's like, he's up there, and like we're like just doing this like rinky dink stuff down in Boston.
Yeah.
So okay, so you worked. So that's how you got into it. Then you kind of said you took a hiatus, you said, for a little while. Then you got back into it.
Yeah, I ended up sending him the music for that record. The music, I tried to make a comeback at that time. It didn't work out, as it had 10 other times. And it was basically forgotten. And then COVID happened.
Oh.
And I had a lot of free time.
Yeah.
So this is very important, actually. Right before COVID, me and Frankie, who you just had on your show, we put together a little group. We were calling it Scene 30, and we decided to start bringing artists from Greece.
Oh, cool.
So I don't know if you remember the group Vegas. They were like huge, like 2015, 14.
Yeah.
So the lead singer, she's very talented, Melina Macri. We reached out to her and we brought her in to do a show. It was very successful. And it turns out, I didn't know at the time when we booked her, her brother is like very well known, very well respected producer, engineer in Greece. So he came with her. He was her plus one. Him and I hit it off. Eventually we started talking about music. And then, I decided to, during COVID, I built a little studio. He's now my producer, engineer, and it has just completely taken off and gone to levels that I didn't think it was going to go. I'm so excited to share it with everybody. I'm so proud of it. And one thing we haven't touched base on, and besides my love for the music, there's a part of me that really, really wants our Greek culture to continue and live on. And one thing that really bothers me is I don't see like a Greek scene like when we were growing up. The kids aren't going out. They exist.
Yeah.
It's just not on the level. Like, people don't understand. Remember like Christmas night at Royale? Like 600 people, like insanity. Where are you gonna see that? It
was an absolute like necessity.
If you guys really think about it, there was no other ethnic group that had the city locked down on these big events at all the various different nightclubs. There was no other ethnic group that actually produced what the Greek American culture produced in Boston. I'm sure other cities too, like New York, Chicago, and so on. But in Boston, if you think about it, there was.
I swear, I think Boston was number one in that.
Yeah, it was
100%.
every week, every day of the week, if not, weekends, there was something going on besides the long weekends and the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And when the holidays came out, everyone came out deep. There was like, a couple thousand people at events.
Yeah,
And it's
those days will never be back. I mean, that was like
maybe not at that level, but we
we,
do.
Right, right.
we were at the perfect place at the perfect time for the Greek scene of like nightlife that we experienced. It was nothing before that, and I don't think it'll ever be anything like that after that, because with technology and with just us
Sure.
growing and assimilating into the culture, the American culture, it's just like there's no urgency for us to be that connected to. Because back then, if you wanted to hear a Greek song, you had to go to like the club and have the DJ play it. Like you had no access to it. We didn't have the
Yeah,
internet.
but you and I both know it's not the same thing. Like it's so important. I believe that time period, those nights, even though to most of us they're a blur,
Yeah.
they're so important to who we are and our culture. And like that's where I learned about all these artists that some of them I'm working with now, that call me. Like it's crazy. And none of this would have been possible if it was an education. It was an education in what I'm doing now, and knowing all this stuff, knowing these artists, knowing the music, knowing how important they were in the time period and why they're important now.
Yeah. It literally was a perfect storm of Greek like culture for us. Because like I look at our kids and I'm like, they're never gonna understand what we did and how we did it, right? And it's kind of sad. It's like I wish my son in the future would be able to experience like that kind of thing. But it's like hopefully they'll have their own thing. I don't know what it'll be, but I don't think it's going to be very cultural. What?
We're gonna have to take it to the metaverse.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna
He and I were trying to bring back and bring those fun parties back and get rid of like some of that negativity and some of that bad stigma that was kind of left with like, remember like the multiple events going on the same night. Like we want to work together with everyone. Like when I said I was going to do this event, I reached out to everyone that's still involved in some way. And I told them I was doing it and gave them the option to be involved, even if not financially, if they wanted to just be a part of it. Because I just feel like it's so important. I feel like all that hatred, like it messed up the night. Sorry, I know you know that.
Oh yeah.
It messed the nights up. It divided people. People were like taking sides, and it's the opposite of what we're trying to accomplish.
Alex, that had a big part in. It wasn't the only thing, but it played a major role in me just getting out of like doing Greek Boston, because I was like, I'm just so sick of it.
Stressful. It's like we're coming here to go away from stress, not to create more.
Right.
Yeah.
But
that's awesome, man. So let's talk now. So right now you have something big going on, right?
We do.
All right.
So
let's talk about right now, and then we'll kind of jump into like your future plans.
Sure. So we just started promoting yesterday, actually, the new single. It's me with Nico Vugliotti, some people know him as Nivo, and Isoropisti, who's one of the other members of Going Through, which is Nivo's big rap group.
Oh yeah.
We're together on a song called First Class. It's produced by Mark Angelo, which, like I said earlier, is Melina's brother. Awesome. I co-produced it with him as well. The song is just about just living life, man, and having a good time and doing everything, top notch, first class.
Nice.
We flew out. I flew out to Greece in June. Beautiful. The video shoot, the shot. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
The place where we did the video shoot was absolutely beautiful. It was this like mansion in Mati.
Oh wow.
Mati had those fires a few years ago.
Yeah.
But luckily this area had not been damaged. It was just the place is amazing. You'll see the video, like indoor pools, and this is stuff that you don't see in Greece.
Oh wow.
I hired Yanni Papadakis, who's like one of the biggest producers in Greece for not only for music videos. He's the most awarded, I believe, for music videos, but he also is a film producer and director. I don't know if you know the Bachelor series that have been really popular in Greece. They actually have a new one that's coming out, I believe, this week. He, I believe, wrote that and directed it.
Oh wow.
So he directed this video. It was an experience, to say the least, to be out there and be surrounded by these people that I only see on TV or now, computer screen and your phone.
That sounds like a amazing experience. That's so cool. So okay, so where you're gonna give us a teaser, and we're gonna mix that into this and use in our
Perfect.
promotions.
Mm.
And I can't wait. I can't wait to hear and see. So that's huge, and that's happening now. So
It
do you
is.
have any little bit longer term plans? Or are you just gonna wing it? Or are you just gonna see where?
Yeah. So
where it goes?
over the past year, we've recorded probably about 16 to 18 records.
Oh wow.
Majority of them are strong singles that we're excited to release. You know, it's a new format now. You don't do albums anymore. So we're figuring out how we're going to release them. You know, all the stuff going on in Greece, from the fires in the summer to just COVID, has really slowed down. We didn't think it was an appropriate time to release anything, so we kind of just waited for things to start to settle down. We thought this was a good time, and we're hoping for the best, just in time to get it ready for the summer.
Yeah, that
No.
that'll be so cool.
What about Alex? I mean, I'm calling you Alex. Known you.
That's okay, Alex. It's fine.
Yes, Efiologos. But what about do you want to kind of go into? It used to be Efiologos, but have we changed the identity?
We did, because you know, as we as people, we change, we progress. Because when I came out there, I was really proud of you know, the way I would put words together, and I was really focused on wordplay and lyrics. Not that I'm not now, but definitely my focus and my outlook has changed. It's not about being cocky and telling everybody how great I am, though there is some of that. that goes hand in hand with hip hop music, I think.
Yeah.
So what I basically done, we've done something really simple. The new name we go by is NRG, which is basically just kind of like an abbreviation, or even an acronym if you want, for my last name, which is Nirgianakis. And that's what you're getting in this music. You're getting me. You're getting what I love to listen to, what makes me happy, what makes me feel good, what piques my interest as far as music is concerned.
Nice.
That's cool.
So,
I
now,
like
so you
that.
go by NRG.
NRG.
NRG. Love
That's
it.
awesome.
Love it. Love it. What about any thoughts or plans of maybe doing some tours in the US at some point with
Definitely something we'd love to do. Again, with all these travel restrictions, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Now that you bring it up, I did just get invited, and I am going to do it on the 18th, which is the day after the song drops.
Yeah.
For those in the Boston area, at the Greek American Political Club, I will be there.
Nice.
With Konstantinos Nazis. Sorry, they just called me about it. With Konstantinos Nazis, so I'll be opening for him. It's going to be amazing. I know a lot of the tickets are already sold. It's going to be a really busy event. It's going to be the first Greek event in a while. I think the last one was the one that we did like a year and a half ago. So it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Everyone's excited to finally go out again. And I'm just really looking forward to it, and looking forward to sharing my music with people and talking to people and letting them know, you know, what we're doing, and hoping to keep it going.
Yeah, man. And, you know, we spoke about how it used to be, and how we would love to bring it back. Anything you do, any events you do, any teasers, any audio, any song, anything that you want to share with us and we put on our platform, 100%, man, because we do this for that specific reason. We want to promote Greek culture.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we this is what we want to do. And you're part of that content from Greek Americans that we love. So everything and anything, just let us know, man. Our platform is 100% there.
I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, because you know, it's guys like you that are keeping everything going. And if you guys left it up to me and Father, it would be like two like old guys just sitting here on the microphone talking.
No, man, we need you guys.
Making fun of each other.
But yeah, I mean,
you know, I have a couple of questions again for NRG. You know, growing up in the hip hop scene ourselves, who are some of your idols growing up in the hip hop scene that you really valued as?
So my top idol, and there's no one that's even a close second, is Jay-Z.
I felt that.
Jay-Z is the guy that has done everything that anyone as an artist strives to do. He's covered it all. There's nothing he hasn't covered, and then some. He's brought it to that next level and set new high standards for people to attempt to meet that a lot of people just aren't. Like, he is definitely one of a kind. And when you get into his music, I mean, there's just nothing like it. Everything is so in depth and so involved. Nothing is just to do it. You know, every word is thought out, and I appreciate stuff like that, and that's why he's up there for me.
I second that. I feel totally the same. Also a big fan of Jay-Z. I think we're a little older than you, I'm assuming. So for us growing up, you know, icons like Run DMC,
yeah,
you know, were pillars in the
old
those guys set the stage for everybody.
And so as Greek Americans, though, we were embedded in the hip hop culture, especially when we lived in these urban areas like Rosendale, Somerville, Lynn, Peabody.
Yeah.
You know, it was a big part of our culture growing up. You know, growing up in a Greek household, obviously, you know, in the house, speak Greek, eat Greek, you know, go to church Sunday, Goya, all that stuff. But then once we hit, once we left the house and we hooked up with our boys and on our schoolmates,
lives,
right? It's a different life.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, our parents, I mean, my parents would always, bust our chops because we wanted to wear the gear, you know, the Adidas and the running suits and all that. Like, you know, pupa sets, you thought, you know, you know, you're not, you know, so, you know, it's for us, it was an interesting upbringing here. And I'm sure, like we said in the Boston.
Imagine when we were young, listening to the old school hip hop and our parents yelling at us. Imagine we had an artist like Alex that was bringing it to the Greeks. You think that would have changed? That could have changed like the whole outlook.
So there were artists like that, because don't forget, like, hip hop wasn't always accepted in Greece, and it hasn't been around there for. I mean, it's been a while now,
right,
but not as long as it's been here. And there were groups like Imiskubria, and because they were doing kind of like the satire rap, and then you had FFC, which was like more serious, and Tarek's crew, and those guys were just like Nico Voulioti. Nico Voulioti is the guy that they kind of brought hip hop into Greece, made people aware of it, and Nico Voulioti made it mainstream.
Right.
And I think that was like the most difficult thing to do. He made it so that it was appealing. He started doing like hip hop with Anna Visi, you know, with Mazonaki. Like, that was unheard of at the time. They're like, what is this?
It's so cool on his end that he had that kind of drive to bring hip hop to Greece, and he executed, and he actually did it. And it's also cool on the other mainstream artist side that they accepted it and kind of helped it along too. So it's like cool all around. I mean,
I know, and it wasn't easy as someone who followed it. Like, he was always heavily criticized. Oh, he's just a rapper. Oh, he's just this. Like, he's a clown. Yeah. Forget the guy. But guess what? That guy right now is every weekend being flown to Thessaloniki, opening for Kara and Plutarco. Like, awesome. What other rapper is doing that in Greece? Nobody. Like, that's the level that this man is on. And I respect him so much. And he's been like such a mentor to me. And he's taught me so much, not only about the industry, just even about life and just.
Sure.
Yeah, just so much. And he really is just a great person.
What a great ride for you, Alex. I mean,
yeah, it's so cool.
This is great that I tip my hat off to you for the I'm going to say sacrifice and dedications that you probably
have to
push, right? It's not, and Ari was talking about how it's not easy to actually cut music, but it's also the lifestyle that you have to also embed, where, you know, you're not a, 9 to 5, or, you know, you're probably missing out on stuff that other people would normally do because you're so, dedicated to what you're doing.
Yeah. This is a full-time job in and of itself, but doing this and balancing a full-time job and a social life, like, it takes dedication. You have to want to do it, and the reward, like, hopefully there'll be a reward for there in the future for me. I mean, if there isn't, it's not the reason that I do it. I do it because I love it. I do it because I'd rather be spending my time doing this than being out just wasting my time and not making a difference. Like, I love the fact that there's a possibility that in, like, 40 years or something, I'm not going to be around or whatever, and someone's going to listen to my music, or someone in 20 years is going to turn it on and be like, I remember this song, and associate it with an important time in their life, like the way we associate music. That is the reason that I do it, not for anything else.
Music is one of the most important things about the human condition. Like we need music. Music is everything to us, and your legacy will live on. So if you never make a penny and nobody listens to your music, you still did it. But I really, really, really doubt that will ever be the case, because, like I said,
hope you're right, man.
You're on another level that I always thought was like, yeah, this guy, we can't like bring him like to a club here. He's like so good. Like, listen to him. And first of all, I think the first time I've ever heard you, I think, if I remember correctly, I thought that you were from Greece. That's how good like your flow was. I was like, oh, this is Greek. They're like, no, this dude's from Boston. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I think it was Chris that was telling me.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was like, another life. But you know what? It's amazing what you're doing. You definitely have that talent. I mean, it's a testament to your talent that you are where you are right now, that you're dealing with these artists in Greece, that you're flying over to Greece to shoot music videos. Nobody asked me to shoot a music video because I have no talent. So it's a testament to your talent, and it's awesome. And like I said before, go ahead, Foti, go ahead.
If NRG needs any like stunt doubles, or if he needs any extras in his videos, he can ask you.
Yeah. When you need somebody to take care of your groupies, I'm there for you. Don't worry.
Listen, we'll definitely be shooting a video soon in the area. I'll let you guys know so you guys can make it out.
Oh, yeah, dude, that would be so cool. So 100%. Cool. Well, I said it before and I'll say it again. Anything you do, any support you need, we have the website, the app, the podcasts. We're here for you. Anything, because you are doing exactly what we love. You create content, you create music.
Pleasure,
you're a good guy, and everybody I know loves you. Now that we get to know you a little bit better, we love you, especially Foti. Look at him. He has a twinkle in his eye. But Alex, awesome, man. Awesome. We wish you the best. We wish you all the luck in the world. We hope we hear your name over and over again. And always reach out to us. Let us know what's going on. Come back on the show. Anytime you have something to promote, we would love to have you. And I want everybody out there listening and watching to stick around for the teaser that we're going to have, and just keep your eyes and ears open, because you're going to be hearing a lot from this gentleman.
Yeah, Alex, and we just created all new social media pages, because we changed the name. So it's on both TikTok and Instagram. It's at NRG_Boston. Really easy. Come find me, follow me, get all the updates on all the new stuff coming out.
And we'll also link that in the video and podcast notes. And once more, thank you so much, Alex. Thank you, Foti.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks everybody out there for watching and listening, and we will see you guys next time. Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Peace.